Sister Amatullah from France.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I've got three questions for you,
Sure.
if you're okay. First, I want to precise that my mom doesn't have a strong belief in God and doesn't really practice Islam as a Muslim would do. And when I first decided to wear hijab and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was wearing the headscarf with simply maxi skirt and tried to wear loose garments. But with time, I decided to wear the jilbab, which is a garment that I really like. And my mother doesn't want me to wear this. And she hates that kind of garment. And I wanted to know if it affects my relationship with my mom. Is haram or not if I keep it?
Okay.
That's my first question. And then I want to ask you, regarding to the obedience to the legal guardian, I want to know if there is a how can I say it? Who the woman must obey to, and the obedience to the legal guardian more important than the others. I just want to know if a woman does have to how can I say this? If I must only obey to my dad, or if I can obey to other persons in my family, for example.
Sister Amatullah from France, we're able to get to a second question as well. The first question is about a situation. MashaAllah, she started practicing and wearing a hijab and a full outer garment to suit the hijab. But the parents, particularly the mother, is not happy with that. She objects to that and she's displeased with her. So she's concerned that if this is affecting her relationship to her mother, would that be considered as a disobedience? No, it is not. But we have to find a way not to compromise, rather to convince the parents that what you're doing isn't only for your own good, but also rather for their own good. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Tahrim in ayah number 6, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. O you who believe, protect yourselves and your family members, those who are under your guardianship, again is the fire of hell. You know how many parents, and this is a message to your kind mother, you know how many parents are dying to have a child like yours. You know how many parents would love their daughters to wear hijab, and they have been struggling with them, and they would do anything in life, anything, whatever it takes, to convince their children to be rightly guided, to pray, and the girls to wear hijab and so on, and to stop smoking or to stop drugs or to stop illicit relationship. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you on a gold tray for free, for granted, and you're not happy. This is basically the worst way of being ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This daughter or this son who's not obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I did not invest in him will be a curse for the parent on the day of judgment. But such child who is dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is trying to obey Allah the Almighty and comply with the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is my asset. That is a child who will benefit me on the day of judgment, will benefit me whenever I'm in the grave. I still receive continuous hasanat. So if one have several children, one who remain like that, is not committed, is not religiously committed or practicing whatsoever, a child who doesn't pray, a daughter who's not wearing hijab, a boy who has a girlfriend, basically because the parents did not invest in them, did not teach them anything, then all of a sudden one of them has been rightly guided. What happens? What happens is that when you die, and definitely you will die, and I will die, and everybody will die, who will benefit you after you die? The one whom you're struggling with them to make them losers, to make them quit the hijab and quit the prayers and quit the sunnah. But those who are nightclub going or having a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or a girl who's not wearing hijab, would not benefit you an art. Rather, their sins, you will receive similar sins to them. Why? Because you misled them. You did not put them on the right track. I want to share a very interesting story with you. Where I used to live, and since my childhood, there was a person who used to work for the Secret Service. And the Secret Service, these guys were ruthless, have no deen. They used to torture people, particularly the religiously committed one, and torture to death. Okay? These people had been cursed by everybody in the community. So whenever they see a young man who's a masjid going all the time, he goes to the masjid, or started growing a beard, or a girl who started wearing niqab or whatever, they track them, they follow them, and they file reports against them, so that whenever he applies for a job, they will ban him from the job. If he's traveling out of the country or whatever, they would make their life miserable. Most of the so-called Muslim countries, under the secular rule, their regimes, their governments, and the security services were only utilized to protect the regimes and to crack down any Islamic activities. Masajid are their enemies. So what happens is, he happened to visit me because I started going to the masjid on a regular basis and so on, and he files a post. Subhanallah, this guy who is very active in his job, he's very known. All his children, his sons and daughters, his daughters all wore niqab. And his sons have become religiously committed after they were, lost, grew beards and started going to the masjid. They memorized the Quran and so on. The guy, by the end of his life, got a cancer. And this is nothing compared to what is awaiting him of, I'm not going to say punishment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. Why am I praying for him now? Because his sons and daughters who are religiously committed, they have toured the country, going to every family, asking them to pardon their father, forgive their father, and pray for their father. And you know what? I've forgiven him. A lot of people have forgiven him, and they started praying for him. Why? Because of his children. You should be very proud of your daughter, not the other way around. You should not suppress her. You should not push her away from Allah or pull her away from the deen. Rather, you should say, honey, I'm very proud of you.